Welcome to the second video in our brand new Worship Guitar Mastery series. In this series, we'll be diving deep into the art of crafting killer worship guitar parts, and specifically in this video, we'll be focusing on one of the most powerful yet often overlooked techniques for creating great sounding guitar parts. And that is all about using simple two-note chord voicings, or as we like to call them over here, 4/2 voicings. Now you'll learn how to add some creative embellishments along with some interesting rhythms to these basic voicings to really take your guitar parts to the next level. I'll play the part now and then we'll break it down afterwards. Alright, so let's break that down. Obviously we know the chords were G, E minor, C, and D. So 1, 6, 4, 5 in the key of G. And the voicings that I used here were what we call 4/2 voicings. We're only playing the chord tones on the 4th and 2nd string. So this was for a G, for an E minor, for a C, and then for a D. So we've got a lot of videos on this channel about 4/2 voicing, but in essence, it's basically just a triad, like this: G, E minor, C, and D. It's triads played on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, but I don't play the G. And that results in G major chord like this, E minor, C, and D. Right, if you want to learn more about the 4/2 voicings, check out the description for a link. Then when I went up the second time, I still played G on the repeat. I played E minor. Then I played C over here. And I played D over there. So I was able to move up the neck in order to kind of build a little bit of harmonic and melodic intensity. So that's a great thing about these 4/2 voicings, is I can play G over here, there, or here. I could play E minor here, there, or there. I could play C there, or there, and I can play D. So there you get different versions where you can play these 4/2 voicings. Now that's all super basic. We've covered a lot of that before. Now the thing that makes this part work is basically two things. It's the rhythm and also the way in which I break up my chords. So in music we have what we call an arpeggio. So most people, when they think of an arpeggio, they're going to think this is an arpeggio. And they'd be right, that is an arpeggio. That was a C major arpeggio. Arpeggio simply means broken chord, but this is also an arpeggio. I'm arpeggiating the chord, so instead of playing the chord all together, I'm picking the notes separately, so it's known as a broken chord. So instead of playing everything together, I break up the chord. So that is one of the cool things that you can do with these 4/2 voicings. Instead of just playing everything together, that'll totally work fine, and there's times for you that works to do just both notes together. But when you break up the 4/2 voicing, you get something that sounds like this: a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1E, 2, 3, 4, and a 1E, and a 2E, and a 3E, and a 4E, and a 1E, and 2, and 3. So you see, when you break up the chords like that, it gives you more options. And think of a piano player, they don't always play all the chords like this. It'll sound pretty bad if they do that. Of course, there are times that they might do some stabs and whatever, But typically they'll play a chord and they'll break up the chord with their right hand. And that's an arpeggio, so that just sounds a lot cooler rather than kind of strumming or playing all the notes at the same time. So as guitarists, we can learn a lot from that. So that is basically how you can break up the chord. I'll take you through that now in detail. But before I do that, let me also mention that I'm using hybrid picking. I'm a big fan of hybrid picking like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, first of all, what is hybrid picking? Well, I'm using a hybrid of my pick and my fingers. So I can pick the string like that. So instead of having to pick both notes with my pick, the low note is played with my pick and the high note is played with my finger, and I've got my nail grown out a little bit for that sound. So it does a couple of things. First of all, it gives me easy access to my notes. So I don't have to like jump with my pick all over the guitar. So I've got economy of movement working for me over here. That's the first cool thing. And the second thing is this note, if I play both with a pick, it sounds like that. And if I do it with hybrid picking, the hybrid picked note on the B string just sounds slightly different because of the fact that it's a combination of my nail and the flesh of my finger there striking the string. So I get some, the sound, there's some nuances and variation in the tone. All right, so that's my technique. Hybrid picking, where I can play G, E minor, C, and then D. So let's look at the rhythm. Basically what's happening here is I've got a pickup note every time. So the song is playing 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1. So my low note is happening right before the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the same for E, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's cool about that is kind of an upside down approach, because normally you would think that the lowest note, or the first note rather, that you're going to pick should be on 1, but that is very predictable. And if I had to do that on 1, it'll sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. It just sounds just a little bit off. But if I do it a 1, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this sits a little bit better rhythmically when I have that bit of a pickup note right there. Now, the second time around, we want to build things a little bit. Actually, we're really doing that at the end of the 4th bar, which is this, and a 1. So think of a drummer. Normally they'll play a groove, like a 4-bar groove, and in the 4th bar they might go ba-dum before they go back into the groove. So just like a very simple accented that they can do at the end of that 4-bar phrase. So it's like a little mini fill. And this is exactly what the guitar did over there as well. So instead of playing a 1 on my 4th bar, which is D, I went and a 1. So just that pick, slide, pick, slide, pick kind of gives me a cool way to just play a little bit of a fill without it affecting the musicality over there. So G, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a bit of a fill that you can do there. What's happening is I know that I want to end here a 1, but then I can have and a 1. So it's pick, slide, pick, slide, pick. And again, I can do pick, slide, pick, slide, pick, slide, pick, slide, pick, slide, pick. So you can cover quite a lot of ground on the guitar with that technique. case G. That pick, slide, pick. Of course, if you just do that, you're gonna overdo it. It's like a drummer that plays a fill of the end of each bar. It just doesn't work. So you have to use it sparingly. But that was the technique there at the end of the fourth bar. Then when we did the repeat of this, it was and a one. So again, I had the pick, slide, pick. So now when I end on those two notes, I go one note before it in the scale, pick, slide, pick for the G chord. Now for E minor, I went a 1E. Now the reason for that is I'm doing embellishment. So instead of just playing the notes, I'm doing a note before the G note, and then I'm doing a note before the E note. So that's just a nice embellishment. A 1E and a 2, or actually, and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E. So just think of a piano player, they don't just play the notes of the chords, they might do a note just before the note that they want to target to get some of this melodic movement. And that has been done by pick, pick, hammer, pick, pick, hammer, pick, pick, hammer, pick, pick, slide, pick, pick, hammer. That's the embellishment that you want to do if you want to embellish the higher note. So for the D, at the end of the first 4 bars, I played a slide into the lower note. And then for the G into the lower note. And then for the E minor into the higher note. And that was the E minor. And then for the C and the D, because the next section is building into the following part, I played and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. And I think I used hybrid picking, so, and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. So it's a fairly syncopated rhythm there. My rhythm that I'm playing is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So it's a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So if you look at the rhythm there, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. I'll do it again. 8, 10, 8, 10, 8. And I slide into it. Okay, so it's a very specific rhythm that's syncopated over that bar. Some people refer to this as like a broad triplet feel, but it's a very specific rhythm. So it's very open. So, and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and 2 and 3. And then the D is slightly a mirrored version of that because the one was very open, and then this first one starts with like 2 consecutive 16th notes, a 1E and 2E and 3. And then if you wanted to, you could pick both those notes, a 1E and 2 and 3, because it's going to sound a little bit more forceful if you played with the pick as opposed to the fingers. So I'll play the second 4 bars for you on its own. So you can hear we're still outlining G, outlining E minor, and then when we get to the C and the D, there's more rhythmic intensity happening because we are building into the next section. So listen to this. A 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and 2E and 3. And then a slide all the way down. So there are a couple of things for you to experiment with. Break up your chords. Slide or hammer on into notes. Add some rhythmic variety. And also slide up to higher versions of the chords when you are building into a section. So quite a lot of things that goes into just a simple part like this, but you can hear it's every time I'm only using 2 notes per chord with some articulation, whether it's hammer-ons or slides, as well as some rhythmic variety over there. All right, so there you have all the parts, all the explanations. Let's play it one more time so you can hear it with the track. Now as you finish watching this video, don't forget that you can grab the tabs and the tracks and get access to our special interactive videos featuring animated tabs and fretboards. All the videos in this bundle are powered with the SoundSize technology in our Worship Guitar Skills Academy, and these living sheet music resources will really take your practice routine to the next level and make it way more effective. You'll be able to practice along with my recording using the special hybrid video and music notation player, so all you need to do is press play and then watch as the notes light up and sync up with the video. This will give you a deeper understanding of all the different concepts and techniques covered in this video and will really help you to craft killer worship guitar parts with ease. So if you're interested in checking out the tab and track bundle for this specific lesson and also supporting our channel, check out the link in the description for more information.